This is your News Now.
CBS 4 has been following the Delphi murders trial since the very beginning, from the crime scene to the courtroom. Day 11 of that trial of Richard Allen now coming to a close. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chelsea Helms.
And I'm Bob Donaldson. Today we heard from two important witnesses for the prosecution. CBS 4's Max Lewis heard all that testimony today. He joins us live in Delphi with the very latest on the case. Max?
Hey, good evening, Bob and Chelsea. Yeah, court wrapped up a little bit before 5 o'clock today. We're not really used to that. Most of these days have been pretty long, but the very last witnesses were pretty quick, and the last one is of some importance. He owns a property near the Monon High Bridge, and the road to access his property actually goes underneath the bridge. That property owner, his name is Brad Weber, and if you remember from day one of this trial, in their opening statements, the defense says he is a possible suspect in these murders. Now, we learned that he drives a van, got off of work the day of the murders a little after 2 o'clock. He tells us that he drove straight home, and so he would have arrived there around 2:30. Well, why is that important? Well, because in one of Richard Allen's prison confessions that we heard today, he said he was planning to rape Abby and Libby, but then got spooked after he saw a van and then took them across the creek where he allegedly killed them, and they were found dead. Now, the defense indicated during their cross-examination of Weber that he may not have come home after work, as he said, referencing a statement that he originally gave to law enforcement. But Weber got pretty angry at that. He said no, and that is the point where the cross-examination ended, but not before defense attorney Andrew Baldwin served him with a subpoena right there on the witness stand to come back when the defense presents his case. That was quite a moment here. But today, most of the days and the testimony was from Dr. Monica Walla, who was the psychologist up at the Westville Correctional Facility, a maximum security state prison where Richard Allen was held before his trial. After about 5 months there, he told his psychologist that he found God and wanted to confess to the murders of Abby and Libby. Dr. Walla testified today that Allen told her in a specific chronological detail that as a recovering alcoholic, he drank 3 beers on the days of the murder. He then followed the girls onto the bridge. He said that he messed with his gun, and that is where he thinks the bullet might have fallen out. Of course, that's not where that bullet was actually found. He ordered the girls down the hill and said he sought to rape them. But then he saw a van approaching and got scared. Then he said he forced the girls across the creek, slashed their throats, stayed long enough to assure himself that they were dead and then wouldn't suffer. He then covered them, he said, with tree branches and then walked him back to his car. Allen told the psychologist he had remorse and wishes he could change what had happened. He said he wanted to apologize to the families of Abby and Libby as well as his own family. His exact quotes to his psychiatrist were, "I didn't do everything I said I did, but I killed Abby and Libby. I just want to sign my confessions. I need to let my wife go." Now, in the afternoon session, Dr. Walla told the jury that she diagnosed Allen with a serious mental illness while he was in the prison confessing to the murders, and his mental health struggles actually began in April of 2023. That is around the same time he began meeting with his current attorneys and receiving legal documents, discovery in this case, which would have had details from the crime scene. Of course, the defense is arguing that is where he got the details for that confession. They also argue that he was suffering a psychotic episode during this month-long incarceration in a place that is not used to holding pretrial detainees. Now, tomorrow we got a little bit of an indication of what we might hear, and it might be more from some of those prison confessions, because we did not get into today was the confessions Allen allegedly made on the phone with members of his family. Prosecutor Nicholas McClelland said he was going to be playing for the jury 2+ hours of audio. We expect that is what it is, but of course we'll have to stay tuned. We'll be back here tomorrow for full coverage. Bob and Chelsea.
Thanks so much, Max. Today, we also learned that that psychologist likely had personal interest in that case. We had our legal analyst, John Tompkins, in studio to ask about the credibility of the psychiatrist and how it would hold up after admitting that she did have a personal interest.
First, does she have a personal interest or bias in her 15 minutes of fame, so to speak? And second, how much information did she convey to him? Everybody's talking about how much he said to her, but she's talking to him in those sessions as well.
CBS 4 will bring you updates on the Delphi murders trial on air and online. Just head to cbs4indy.com/Delphi. You can also click on the Delphi murders trial tab atop our homepage.